Hey, how's it going? Malicious compliance is the behavior of intentionally inflicting harm by strictly following the orders of a superior while knowing or intending that compliance with the orders will have an intended or negative result. I love these stories. Only do accounting work during your 2 weeks' notice. After working at a toxic office job for a few years, I decided it was time for me to leave. I gave my 2-week notice and started to organize my myriad of tasks to hand off. I was an accountant's payable assistant, and the company had created my position and added various tasks with other departments over the years. I helped with accounting, inventory, audits, customer service, marketing, sales, and events. Damn, this dude had a lot under his plate. Jesus. My primary manager, we'll call her Barb. Oh, we all know a Barb. Gosh. Was the accounting manager, and there was always a struggle because she assigned the extra work to me, but then refused to acknowledge that I did jobs for other departments than hers. She was the primary reason for me leaving. Every day I ask her if we can have a meeting to discuss my different tasks, how I've organized them, and how to complete them, as no one else does these tasks in the company but me. She refuses to meet with me and reminds me to keep up with deadlines. No problem. For the next 2 weeks, Barb doesn't remove a single task from my plate. She refuses to meet with me for any reason and consistently sends condescending emails about the lack of work effort she's seeing from me. What do you mean? You're quitting, so of course you're gonna have a little bit, of a lack of work effort. And plus, if you're doing all of this extra stuff and not getting compensated for it, I'm surprised you didn't have a lack of work effort to begin with. I don't have the emails saved anymore, but they all included the same message. I'm the boss, just do your job. I brought this to the owner's attention since I worked closely with her, about how I felt like there was no bridge to the next person in my position. I was told, Barb runs the accounting department, so do what she says. Yes, ma'am. I showed up every day and worked as if I wasn't leaving. Good on you. That's some Chad level stuff right there. Other managers asked me who was taking over tasks I handled for them. I referred them to Barb, who told me that she handled accounting, not their departments, and to stop wasting her time. Oh my god, dude. She then told me to only work on accounting-related tasks as that was the position, regardless of the last few years of my tasks being spread across the company. I got this in writing and printed a few copies to cover myself. Oh my god, that's so sweet. On my last day, Barb called me into her office and scolded me for ignoring 75% of my duties. Specifically, inventory was due that day and I hadn't begun it. I reminded her of her accounting work only demand, which she claimed she wasn't referring to inventory too. Of course, as soon as they're caught, they're gonna start backpedaling, be like, no, that's not what I meant. She told me to compile a list of all of the non-accounting jobs I handled, to which I was prepared with a list. Many of these had deadlines missed or coming soon, but I had ignored per her instructions. I was told that if I didn't meet my deadlines for the week, she would not give me a good reference. She also told me to stay as late as I needed to finish up. Wow. Why doesn't she do the work? I didn't need her reference, and I wasn't staying late on my last day. Yeah, why would you? Screw her. She seems like she wouldn't give you a good reference anyways. I forwarded the email of her telling me to not complete any other jobs to the owner, along with the list of missed or close deadlines that wouldn't be met now. Then I clocked out and left, and never returned. This was years ago, and from what I've heard, she still runs the accounting department for them. I was the one blamed for tasks not being completed. Oh well. You know what? Screw them, man. You got one last thing over on Barb, and I think that's great. You deserve a better job if you're handling all that workload and not getting compensated for it. In fact, getting belittled when you decide to follow orders and not do all of the extra stuff that you have been doing all of these years. Next up, only use company-provided software? No problem. Many years ago, I was a kitchen manager for a very popular restaurant concept. My location was fairly busy, and there was a lot of office-related tasks, including placing food orders twice a week. Over the years, I developed a spreadsheet to make the ordering process faster and ensure that when I was on vacation, proper food levels were maintained. Really smart. I've worked in restaurants before, and it's so nice to have that spreadsheet so we know what to order so we don't run out or have too much. It's really useful. Good job. After 6 years and multiple praises from higher-ups about efficiency, we got a new district manager. No, they always want to come in and leave their mark, dude. Oh, God. This person came in and was very by the book. Everything had to be done as per company policy, and we could not deviate. Dude, that's what they're all about. Even if you have a better way of doing it, they'll say, no, that's not how we're supposed to do it. That's how the manual says to do it, so you gotta follow the manual. One day, the district manager noticed I was using my spreadsheet to calculate the food order for the next week. I was told it was not company sanctioned and I could not use it. I explained that it saved me 2 hours each time, and I used that time to help others. That did not sit well with the district manager, and I was told to stop using it immediately. Bro, they feel like they need to show their authority when they get into this new position so that you know they're in charge, and it's so dumb. The district manager asked the general manager if I had any other shortcuts that were unauthorized. Because the GM wanted to stay on the district manager's good side, they spilled the beans on all of my non-compliant methods I used. That sucks, man. The GM was put in a really bad position. Now I was no longer allowed to use any of the time-saving tools I created. Cue malicious compliance. Oh boy. As I was no longer allowed to use these tools, I emailed them to myself and added a password to lock them down on the work computer. No longer usable. But I added a bit extra to the spreadsheet to make it self-destruct. If someone attempted to hack the file, the self-destruct would delete the contents of the file along with the contents of my personal folder. Whoa. Time to get a new job. Oh my god, they just immediately went for the new job. Like, they are not playing around. Oh my gosh. I gave 6 weeks notice and was greeted by the district manager the next day. I was asked to turn in my keys and was promptly fired. What? Oh my god. They told you to do something ridiculous, you followed orders, but said, I'm not going to work here though, if you're not going to allow someone to improve how this operation works. And they fired you. That's ridiculous. 2 days later, it was order day. The general manager called me and asked for the password to the spreadsheet I could not use. Since no one but me knew how to order without the spreadsheet, they were panicking. I promptly told the GM I was unable to help, and if they wanted the password, the district manager would have to call me personally and ask. Oh my god, that's so brilliant. Yeah, if you want the password, that jerk that basically lost me my job, he's gonna have to, kiss the boot. That never happened. I got multiple calls and texts from the general manager, other managers, and even a district manager from another district. They even called my wife. Oh my god, they're in such a panic. They tried to guess the password, and on the third try, even with a warning prompt, the program worked perfectly. All contents of my personal file were permanently deleted, and the spreadsheet deleted its contents and saved itself with no contents. Now there was nothing I could do. They were warned. Multiple missed calls after that. I found out later that the general manager had to spend 4 hours doing the food order and had to pay a late fee for ordering late. The district manager was demoted 3 months later. I like to think it started with me, but I'm sure there were other factors. Dude, I like to think it started with you too. It might not have been the nail in the coffin, but that was the first hint that maybe that district manager is letting the power go to their heads a little too much. For those asking, I do not have the file. It was 10 years ago, and it was nothing that cannot be found in the internet. Also, this was an Excel spreadsheet used to calculate weekly product usage and replenishment suggestions. It was not integrated into the company order system. I did not need it. It just saved me time from having to do the calculations for 400 plus items. 400 items? Holy crap. Each manager is taught how to place orders the company way. It is just I was the only one to do it for 6 plus years. All of the historical information was intact and could have been used to assist, but they knew I had a simpler method and wanted to make it easy for themselves. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because the company has a way to do it. It's just a dumb way to do it that's really slow. And they all didn't want to waste their time. But because this district manager said, no, you have to waste your time, OP just said, okay, well, you all have to waste your time then. Because I'm not going to do this. I'm quitting. Everyone is entitled to their opinions, and I appreciate the different views. What is done, and I regret nothing. Thank you. I don't think you should regret a damn thing. That was great. 4 weeks notice? How about 0? This happened a while back in the UK civil service. Some of you may work there now, and so some of this may have changed, but this is how it was. I was accredited administrative assistant, or a CAA, in one of 46 regional teams. They were organized in teams of 6 in each regional office, 4 AAs and 2 CAAs per team. The CAA grade was like half a promotion, and it was given generally to the 2 most senior members on the team, with the most knowledge and experience, and was generally viewed as a stepping stone to the next level. Above us was the executive officer, EO, who managed each team. I had worked under 2 EOs before the arrival of Brenda. Oh, Brenda is another Barb. Oh gosh. And our team was second best in the entire country, according to the rankings. Second best wasn't good enough for Brenda, however. No. Brenda wanted to be first. Brenda wanted to be first badly. And so Brenda put her 2 brain cells to work to making us into the best team in the entire country. The thing is, when you're the second best team in the country, you're doing things well. And there are far more ways to make things worse at that point than there are to make them better. Brenda was a master at discovering those ways. I love how this is written. Every 2 weeks, we would have a team meeting, and Brenda would introduce her latest innovations to our working practices to improve things. And what would happen then would be we would faithfully follow her ideas, but obviously at first it's a new way of doing things, and needs time for it to become second nature, and for the improvement, if the idea actually had any, to take effect, which meant every 2 weeks, standards would decline as we adopted to a new system. Outraged that standards were declining would prompt Brenda to introduce another new idea 2 weeks later, which of course meant that standards would decline again, which would prompt Brenda to introduce yet more new ideas, and you get the picture. We fell from second best team out of 46 to 46th best team out of 46. Wow, she tanked your team so hard. Myself and the other CAA, Andy, went to the HR manager, Barry. We explained that we weren't happy with the way things were going and that Brenda was the issue. Everything she had tried to introduce had only made things worse. Barry said he'd have a word with Brenda to see what the matter was. Time passed. We were called back in. Barry said Brenda was an excellent manager. The problem must be with the team. Oh man, Barry, come on, dude. The team that was once second in the entire country. Brenda also decided to punish her CAAs. Out of the team of 6, we were doing the work of 4 of them, with Brenda piling more things onto us, presumably for having the temerity to complain about her. Wow. I decided that since I'd left school to get a job, and hadn't gone to university, I had actually missed out, especially after a reunion with old schoolmates who had graduated. So I started applying, in secret, to universities. I told Andy, and he told me that he'd actually been going through the application process to join the police, and his various days off he'd taken had been to sit exams and take physicals, etc. We kept each other's applications secret, only updating each other on how we were getting along. Time went past, and I got accepted into university. I went into work the next day, Friday, and grabbed Andy. "Guess what?" I asked. "You got accepted." He grinned. "Guess what? So did I." We needed to hand in our 4 weeks' notice. Now, in the civil service back then, you get a lot of leave. You had 25 days basic leave, then you could take 2 days per month flexi because it was flexi time, and if you had your hours built up, you could take up to 2 days. Then on top of that, there were privilege days, which are a thing that happen when members of parliament grant themselves a day off. It basically gets granted to all civil servants. So there were about 4 to 5 of these a year, too. And then there were public holidays. The only problem was the HR manager, Barry, wasn't in. Where was Barry? Oh, he was off for the week on a stress management course. Never mind, we'd just leave our notice letters on his desk, covering the 4-week notice period with a bank holiday, a privilege day, 2 days flexi, and all our saved up leave we hadn't taken, which meant we had to spend 0 more days in the office once that Friday was over. Oh man. Barry would come into work the following Monday, fresh from his stress management course, to find Brenda's team was short a third of its members its most senior members to boot, a team that was already the worst in the country. I did hear later from a friend in the same office that Brenda was quietly moved into a position where she could do no further damage. I just wish I'd been able to see Barry's face on that Monday morning, though, when he saw the 2 letters on his desk. You know, reading that was less of a malicious compliance and more of a, you're going to side with the person who ruined our team? Well, then you're going to get your 2 best people to quit with no notice because we can, which, still pretty great. If you have any stories of your own malicious compliance, please leave them in the comments and make sure to subscribe for more stories. Have a good one.